Good morning. I wanted to take a few minutes to share with you the results of the Ayers hybrid questionnaire. This was the survey that came out, and it is only for Ayers, but we wanted you to have this information as you and your family are making your decision on returning to school for hybrid learning. As you know, on Monday night, the school board did a vote to accept Dr. Clark's proposal, and students will begin phasing their learning back in on January 11th. We'll be starting with our youngest students, and by the end of January, all of our elementary students should be back on campus for hybrid learning. Uh, Additional details are being worked out, and they will be shared with the public. There are a few things that have already been decided, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about those. First of all, masks. Masks will be worn by all staff and all students, regardless of age or grade level, when they return to school for hybrid learning. Physical distancing will be in place. Students will have desks 4 to 6 feet apart, and will be social distancing in the hallways as well. We'll even be limiting the amount of students who are able to use the restroom at one time, and even having things like one sink blocked off so that students aren't even standing next to each other when they're washing their hands in the restroom. So physical distancing will definitely be in place. It will be a shorter school day to give us time to stagger starts and stops. That slice of time has not been decided yet, but it will not be our traditional 7:40 to 2:20 school day. As the information is decided, we will share that for you as quickly as possible so that you can make the appropriate arrangements for drop off and pickup of your students. During the school day, recess times will be different to limit the amount of students that are outside, and students will be playing in designated areas, and then they'll take turns being in different areas each day or each week, depending on what works best for the distancing. That allows us to maintain those stable cohorts that are very important, so your students will remain with the same group of children all day when they're here at school. The next thing that I really need you to know is that there are 2 surveys coming out from the school district. The first one will come out this Friday, October 30th, and it is a non-binding survey. Basically, it's very similar, or will be very similar to the survey that we sent out here at Ayers, but it will be for the entire school district. That helps get the school district ready to make sure they know what's happening for each school and how we are going to make sure we have the appropriate number of staff in place for all the students who will be returning with us, as well as all the students who will be remaining on distance learning. That is a non-binding survey, so if you put down that you're going to stay on distance learning, but then change your mind, that's okay. This is just our first glance. The next survey is our binding survey. It is your declaration of intent. I believe it's coming out November 16th, but I do know it will be due back on November 19th. That declaration is binding. So if you and your family say, we are going to remain home on distance learning, that's the decision you're making for this school year. As well as if you are going to come back to hybrid learning, that is the decision you are making for the remainder of this school year. One thing to note, if you do not return that survey, you will be placed in distance learning. So please make sure that you return it. You're going to get lots of robocalls and emails reminding you to return that survey, making sure every family has the opportunity. But I do want you to be aware a non-response is a choice to remain on distance learning. Now let's take a look at our results here from Ayers. We had a pretty good response rate. We had 197 responses, which represents almost 250 students. So well over half of our student population. That's great. We had a good slice at each grade level, very nice. Transitional kindergarten, obviously our smallest grade, so our smallest response on the surveys as well. Totally understandable, still a good rate for our TK grade level. Let's see, transitional K and kindergarten. are together for this response. We had 17.9% may be returning, 25.6% saying no, and 56.4% saying yes, they will be returning to school for hybrid. First grade, 21.1% for maybe, 28.9% for no, and 50% yes. Second grade, 19.4% maybe, 36.1% no, and 44.4% yes. Third grade, 18.9% maybe, 35.1% no, and 45.9% yes. Fourth grade, 29.2% maybe, 31.3% no, and 39.6% yes. And finally, fifth grade, 26% maybe, 18% no, and 56% yes. So fairly similar responses across all of the grade levels. Totally normal, but wanted you to know for each grade level. Overall for the school, we're just slightly under 49% who are fairly certain that yes, they are returning back, with 22% still undecided and 28% saying that they will not be returning with us. I hope this information has given you some things to think about as you're moving forward and making your decision on whether or not your family will be returning for hybrid learning. We will be sending out lots of information over the next several weeks. Please feel free to contact us if you have specific concerns. Thank you for everyone who offered their concerns and comments in the survey. The office staff and I are taking some time to look at that. We'll be putting together some responses for you, making sure that your concerns are addressed and that you have the information that you need to make your decision as your students are returning. So thank you again, and have a fantastic day.